Dirty dealings, corporate battles, consumer woes. This is Evening 5. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has launched the Central Database Hub, better known by its Malay acronym Padu, which will mainly be utilised for the rollout of planned targeted subsidies. The database contains individual and household profiles encompassing citizens and permanent residents. It has their basic demographic information, address, education level, household size, occupation, income, commitments and assistance received, all of which are retrieved from various government entities. It is accessible for verification and updates to members of the public until March 31st this year. Maybank Investment Bank Research said in its Malaysia 2024 Outlook and Lookout report today that Padu will ultimately ensure the biggest bang for the buck in Putrajaya's budget for subsidies and social assistance by reaching the intended and the deserving. Among others, it said the government may possibly end subsidies on essential food items and substitute them with additional cash handouts or financial offsets instead. Fuel subsidy rationalisation should be gradual, with savings to amount to 6 billion ringgit in 2024. It said the adjustments need to be done slowly to mitigate the impact on inflation, which is expected to pick up, though that would be tempered by a stronger ringgit. The research house expects Bank Negara to maintain the overnight policy rate at 3% this year. Boustead Heavy Industries Corp or BHIC said it is extending for the fourth time the conditional period for the planned disposal of a 20.77% stake in troubled Boustead Naval Shipyard to the Ministry of Finance Inc. In a filing today, BHIC said the involved parties require more time to fulfill the conditions precedent to the RM1 deal, and the new deadline is now January 31st, 2024. All other terms and conditions remain unchanged. The disposal is part of the government's plan to assume full control of the 9.13 billion ringgit littoral combat ship project, which Boustead Naval Shipyard failed to deliver on time. The conditions that must be met prior to the deal include the execution of a conditional intercompany trade receivables reorganisation agreement between BHIC and the shipbuilder, and obtaining the written consent from the company's lenders, financiers or creditors. Shares in BHIC closed 7.3% higher at 51.5 cents, giving the group a market value of 127.96 million ringgit. Edaran has secured a 356.56 million ringgit contract to provide hardware and software rental services to the Royal Malaysian Customs Department. The technology company said in its Bursa Malaysia filing that its wholly owned subsidiary Edaran IT Services won the 48-month contract from the Ministry of Finance, and that the letter of award was accepted today. Proceeds from the contract will contribute towards the earnings of the group from FY 2024 until FY 2028. Edaran's substantial shareholders are companies Valiant Chapter with a 23.8% stake, Kauthar 8.17% and Unique Pyramid 7.93%. Checks with the Companies Commission of Malaysia show Valiant Chapter is wholly owned by one Zamri Samsudin, while Unique Pyramid is owned by Ruzila Abdul Kadir. Kauthar, meanwhile, is 95% owned by Edaran's founder, previously prominent corporate figure Tan Sri Tajuddin Ramli, while the remaining 5% is held by his spouse Puan Sri Farida Abdullah. Tajuddin's son Fazlan Azri Tajuddin sits on the company's board as an executive director. Shares in Edaran closed 5.2% higher at 92 cents, giving it a market capitalisation of 54.9 million ringgit. LYC Healthcare is buying its Singapore JV partner's 49% stake in a 67-bedroom confinement care facility in the capital city of Johor for 4.5 million ringgit cash, to be paid via monthly installments of 300,000 ringgit. The facility is owned by LYC SOG Mother and Child, which is 51% owned by LYC Healthcare and 49% by Singapore's SOG Mummy and Baby Centre. According to its stock exchange filing, the proposed deal is an opportunity for LYC Healthcare to fully own and control the JV unit, providing flexibility in expanding its confinement care business in Johor. It said the full ownership of LYC SOG means it can arrange and decide on the structure and timing for fundraising of new capital, as and when required, to ensure the successful execution of the group's expansion plan in the confinement care business, as well as to capitalize on other future growth opportunities in the mother and childcare related services. The acquisition is expected to be completed by the first quarter of 2024. Shares in LYC Healthcare traded 2.5% lower at 19.5 cents, giving it a market capitalization of 130.53 million ringgit. AGX Group, a third-party logistics service provider preparing to go public on Bursa's ACE market, has signed an agreement with TA Securities Holdings to underwrite a total of 21.65 million new shares. AGX's upcoming initial public offering comprises a public issue of 96.5 million new shares and an offer for sale of 30 million existing ordinary shares. Out of the 96.5 million new shares, 21.65 million will be made available to the public via balloting and 6.32 million to its directors and employees. The remaining 68.53 million will be privately placed. The group, which operates in Malaysia, the Philippines, South Korea, Myanmar, Singapore and Cambodia, plans to utilize most of the IPO proceeds to expand its business by setting up new warehouses and offices in Penang and Johor Bahru, plus a new office in Busan, South Korea. Group CEO Datuk Ponudorai Periasami said the listing will enhance its regional presence and further validate its services, particularly in aerospace logistics, where its clientele consists of regional airlines.